Alright, so I know I should probably talk about the Friday Night Funkin' again, considering the explosion of responses on my most recent video, and I do actually have a rough draft of the script for that video, but this game has non-ironically taken over my life. It's all over my feed, I've played it a crazy amount over the past month, and I accidentally got my other friends into it, and now it's taking over their life too. Once I'm done with this video, hopefully it'll inspire you to buy the game and have it take over your life. The Binding of Isaac is a very simple roguelike. The game doesn't have any sort of tutorial, any tooltips, nothing. You pick a file, pick a character, pick a difficulty, and just go in. The first room immediately teaches you the need-to-know basics and sends you off. It's honestly kind of hard to talk about this game in the same way I talk about Hoyoverse or Friday Night Funkin', but just because of how big the game is, it's virtually impossible to go over everything. Luckily for you, I'm not gonna try, because this game is so insanely huge that at 50 hours, I only have a quarter of the achievements. I've been slowly grinding through this game, learning little by little what synergizes together, which characters I enjoy playing, what strategies work for which bosses, the very convoluted way to access some of these bosses, etc. But I'm going a bit fast here. Let's slow down and start at, well, the start of the game. When opening the game, you're treated to a very nice looking stylized intro cutscene where you learn the very basics of the story. Isaac and his mother lived alone in a small house on a hill. Isaac kept to himself, drawing pictures and playing with his toys, and his mom watched Christian broadcasts on television. Life was simple, and they were both happy. That was, until the day Isaac's mom heard a voice from above. "Your son has become corrupted by sin. He needs to be saved." "I will do my best to save him, my lord," Isaac's mother replied, rushing into Isaac's room, removing all that was evil from his life. Again, the voice called to her. "Isaac's soul is still corrupt. He needs to be cut off from all that is evil in this world and confess his sins." "I will follow your instructions, Lord. I have faith in thee," Isaac's mother replied, as she locked Isaac in his room, away from the evils of the world. One last time, Isaac's mom heard the voice of God calling to her. "You've done as I've asked, but I still question your devotion to me. To prove your faith, I will ask one more thing of you." "Yes, Lord, anything," Isaac's mother begged. "To prove your love and devotion, I require a sacrifice. Your son, Isaac, will be this sacrifice. Go to his room and end his life, as an offering to me to prove you love me above all else." "Yes, Lord," she replied, grabbing a butcher's knife from the kitchen. Isaac, watching through a crack in his door, trembled in fear. Scrambling around his room to find a hiding place, he noticed a trap door to the basement hidden under his rug. Without hesitation, he flung open the hatch just as his mother burst through the door and threw himself down into the unknown depths below. The first floor, as you might have guessed, is the basement, in which you'll encounter strange-looking spiders, flies, bizarre humanoid creatures, and poop. A lot of poop. In fact, poop and pee jokes are not super uncommon for this game. Courtesy of 2011's humor, I guess. But don't let the stupid jokes and funny pills and cards fool you. This is not an easy game. In my 50 hours of playtime, I still have runs that end in spectacularly pathetic fashion. But getting back to the first floor, it, along with all the others, has multiple variants. These variants don't really do a whole lot to change the floors themselves, they mostly just change the enemy spawns and placements. Within each floor, voice crack. Within each floor, there's a treasure room, which always has one free item, and a shop, which can sell a variety of different things from heart pickups, to items, to keys, to soul hearts. Soul hearts, along with black hearts, are additional temporary health that carries between rooms and floors. Soul hearts don't do anything special, but when you lose a black heart, you deal a massive chunk of damage to anything in the room. This is basically just an extreme get-off-me tool, but you can't really control it since you have to be bad at the video game to proc it. Thankfully, I am bad at video games. That's why Samson is my favorite character. Treasure and shop rooms are openly accessible in Basement 1, and all its variants, but all other floors require you to use the key to open them. Keys open anything with a lock on them, obviously, plain and simple. The last major resource you have is bombs, which do a pretty good chunk of damage, but are mostly used as a tool, breaking rocks and opening secret passages and stuff. At the end of each floor, you'll fight a boss, which can be a multitude of different things, from a big spider to two silly guys to one big chub. That's basically all you need to know in terms of the general gameplay loop. So the next thing on the bucket list is to talk about the items. This game has so many goddamn items with so much influencing how you get those items that it would be impossible for me to go over every single one, especially considering I don't even have half of them unlocked yet, so I'll split items into categories. Standard items, active items, trinkets, cards, pills, and other random stuff. Standard items are your permanent effects, your stat boosts, your tiers, your flight, your big f***off laser, that sort of thing. Next is active items, which are displayed next to your health. While some of these have effects by just holding them, most of them only do something when you activate them. Each active item needs to be charged, and charging is done by completing rooms. Once it's fully charged, you can use the item. These active items can range from simple homing shots to re-rolling items in the room to more big fuck-off lasers. Trinkets are kind of like passive items in that they don't need to be activated to function, but the difference is that these are much more minor in their effects, and you can only have one trinket at a time. Cards are a bunch of random effects that I don't really feel like reading out, but a lot of them are just boosts for the current room, teleporting, or spawning something in. Pills are different in that they are permanent stat changes, besides a few outliers, but pills can also be negative, causing you to lose stats instead of gain them. This can be changed or worked around with certain items, but a majority of runs you won't know what happens until you swallow that pill. With the basics out of the way, let's move on to the next set of levels. This is the caves, and this area basically acts like a second warm-up. If you can't even get past this, you are not ready for what comes next. While we're here, I might as well talk about the other rooms that can generate besides the treasure and shop rooms. First is the curse room, marked by these darker doors with teeth. Walking into these rooms does damage to you, and these rooms usually have red chests inside, but they can also have stone chests, which need to be blown up with bombs, and sometimes they don't have anything but enemies, effectively wasting your time and health. Sacrifice rooms are indicated by a black doorway with blood surrounding it. Sacrifice rooms have nothing in them besides a single tile of spikes in the center. Walking into these spikes takes away health like spikes normally do, but these ones can't be avoided by flying. And the reason for that is because they have a chance of certain effects happening depending on how much health you sacrificed. These effects range from spawning a single coin, spawning 7 soul hearts, spawning a chest, teleporting you to whatever the angel or devil room is, or just spawning an angel as a boss fight. We'll get to that in a second, but basically the more health you lose, the greater the rewards. Arcades are marked with a neon sign above the door, and opening the door requires a coin. Inside the arcade is a combination of slot machines, blood donation machines, beggars, and a few other things. Challenge rooms are marked by a double sword insignia above the door, and can only be opened at full HP. Inside is a random assortment of chests, but opening the chest triggers a 3-wave combat room, needing to clear all 3 waves before you can leave unless you have a way of teleporting out of the room. Boss challenge rooms are similarly fashioned, having a skull above the door and needing to have 1 HP in order to enter. Inside the boss challenge room is normally a pretty decent item from the boss reward pool, but when you pick it up, you have to fight 2 lower tier bosses to leave, unless you have some way to teleport out. Libraries require a key to open, and inside are 1 to 3 book items. These rooms are honestly nothing special unless you're playing certain characters, in which case they become a godsend. Vaults are special rooms that always require 2 keys to open, and inside are usually multiple chests or just a ton of pickups. It's usually not super worth it to unlock these unless you have like 4 keys on you, so. Dice rooms are very different from any other kind of room. Also requiring 2 keys to enter, the middle of the room has a massive dice face on it. When stepping on the dice face in the center of the room, a different effect will activate depending on the number shown. A lot of the times these effects range from useless novelties to borderline harmful, so I usually steer clear of these unless I have way too many keys. And finally, of the non-special rooms, we have the bedroom, which is probably the rarest of them all. I've only seen about 3 of them. Inside is a bed, a mirror, and a carpet. The bed heals you to full HP, the mirror alters your appearance slightly, and you can place a bomb on the carpet to reveal a crawl space. Crawl spaces are more similar to where you found items in the original Legend of Zelda, weirdly, where you go down a ladder, grab a random item inside, and leave. Sometimes these crawl spaces can have additional stuff in them, but usually it's just 1 item. Angel and devil rooms are special in that they don't generate naturally. Instead, you have a chance of them appearing after killing the boss on the floor, and taking damage lowers the chances of that happening. Devil rooms usually have really good offensive items inside, but you need to sacrifice health to grab them. Angel rooms, on the other hand, are completely free and have better defensive utility items, but are harder to get, needing to skip out on devil deals and having a lower spawn chance. And finally, of the special rooms, without avoiding spoilers, is the planetariums, which have incredibly powerful run-altering items inside. I don't have these unlocked. Alright, with all the special rooms out of the way, let's just get to the final floor. The final floor is the depths, in which is a pretty big jump in difficulty. To be fair, it is the final floor, so it makes sense that the game decides to throw new enemies and more difficult room layouts at you, but regardless, by the time you make it here, you better be prepared, because if you're scraping by, it will not be enough to fight the final boss, Mom. Mom can be deceptively challenging. The stomps deal a full heart of damage and can catch you if you aren't watching for them. The eyes emerging from the doors can shoot tears at you, and she spawns random enemies which, depending on the right combination, can really back you into a corner. And if you back yourself against one of the doorways, Mom can stick her hand through the door and throw off whatever rhythm you may have had. This fight can be pretty difficult, but if you have the perseverance, you can take her down and finally see the end credits. What the hell? What is going on?
But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light.
What is happening? And that was The Binding of Isaac. Well, while avoiding spoilers, that is. I really want to talk about this game more, but I feel I have less of an authority to speak on this game as a whole, considering I haven't even fought every boss yet. I only just recently unlocked Downpour and the whole pathway, and I've barely touched a lot of the characters. I'll probably talk about this game once I 100% it, so maybe you'll see another Isaac video from me in 2030. As of right now, that's all I want to say. See ya.